And good evening. And well, today we're going to talk about how to help you decide exactly which e-ink tablet you want. We're going to split it into two categories, and I do have a question for you straight away, which is, are you going to go full Android or are you going to go for distraction free? And I'm going to start. The first thing I'm going to talk about is how can you decide if you are sure you know you want an Android tablet. And then I'm going to introduce something, a template that I've made for you from Xtiles, which is going to be an interesting one. And then a little bit of news, not too much, but then we'll talk about if you have decided distraction free. So answers to this one in the chat: are you going full Android? Do you want a full Android e-ink tablet, or do you want distraction free? Just a really quick couple of welcomes. Thanks very much for joining the live stream. Don't forget to pop your questions in the chat, and I'll get onto them at points during the live stream and at the end in a Q&A session. Supers are available though if you do want to highlight your question, and I will try and get to it a bit earlier. Thanks so much if you're watching this on the replay. Feel free to fire in your questions into the main comment section as well, and I'll get around to answering them. If you're watching it after a day or so, you should find it chaptered out, so feel free to skip around. I'm Kit Masters, and this is the Evaluate Everything show. Let's pop over to live, Kit. Good stuff. And I'm going to just say thank you very much to Xtiles, who are sponsoring part of this live stream tonight. And I'm going to tell you about a template that we've made together. One thing I really loved about using Xtiles is actually the way that you can make templates, and you can simply use the ones they've designed for you, or you can actually make your own. And that's a really very useful thing to do. It can get your projects off to a really good start if you think before you do about what needs to go into everything that seems like this, what needs to go into everything that's going to be in this form. So templates are excellent. And later in the stream, I'm going to tell you a template. I'm going to show you a template that I co-created with the Xtiles team to help you get started with any type of project. There's a link in the description if you want to check that out ahead of time. But let's fire into the content. Answer that question in the chat, and I will get to that periodically. Some interesting points already discussing: do we want a small one and a larger one? Do we want one that is our distraction-free notepad? Do we want one that is more of an Android and focused tablet? I'm going to talk about this one. This this story I am going to call how our team became amazing, because I do work in an absolutely amazing team. It's really important that they know that. Shout out if any of them are watching. I bet they aren't, but they're not probably that interested in this topic. But I'm about to leave this team, unfortunately, and it is an amazing team. It's a team that I led for some time. I led it for 3 years, but I've worked with them for 4 years. But it's a team that really doesn't need me now because they drive themselves forward, which is really great for me to see as a former leader of them. They're a team who work together and they plan together and they succeed together. I'm really glad to say that the exam results that the students have achieved in my science team were absolutely amazing. They were absolutely brilliant. When I started with them, I made them a really simple promise. I said to them, essentially, I said, I've got your back. Well, more than that, what I did was I said, I would always be your advocate. If they ever felt like they weren't being heard, then I would speak for them. I would help them be heard. And even, I said, even if I didn't agree with them, simply put, I wanted them, I needed them to trust me. And, you know, it's not dishonest. I wanted them to trust me. And that was an honest promise that as their leader, as the head of science, I would be there if they needed me to help their voices be heard. This whole, you know, how our team became amazing didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen easily, to be quite honest. And there were times when they let me down, and there were times when I let them down, I'm sure, as well. I showed them a picture in an inset day. I showed them what I call the trust flower, and it's like a pictogram with all the things that good teams should be. They didn't really respond to this, and right in the middle of this is the word trust. I haven't got a picture of it now, but they didn't respond to this. They thought maybe it was a bit of a joke, thought it was a bit cheesy maybe. But honestly, this team was really good professionals, but they did argue and they did bicker, and they did come to me and they said things like, I don't know how this person is getting away with this, or I don't know how this person is getting away with not doing this. And you know, it was really difficult sometimes. I really took pride in that I worked really transparently, and they didn't always see that. There was a sense of fairness. So all the decisions I was making, I was trying to make as open, as transparent as possible. But gradually, everyone in the team had a reason to ask me for help, some little things or some big things. And I gave it willingly. And I think I lived up to that promise. Now, I didn't have to go to this person much, but my mentor did help massively. And essentially what I did was I just modeled what she did with her wider team. And one thing I did, and one thing she taught me to do, one thing she showed me to do, was to ignore negative voices and to amplify the positive ones. And I used some phrases at times like, "You guys regularly tell me how good this is or how much you like this," even when there was maybe just as many who were saying why they didn't like certain things. And so I use this kind of cohesive and collaborative team language even before there was a cohesive and collaborative team. And actually, the kind of catalyst for change was that COVID happened, and this was a big challenge for everyone in the whole country, in the whole world. Obviously, there was lots to prepare for online lessons, and everyone was out of their comfort zone. And there was one person in this meeting, online meetings, all of a sudden, one new member of the team, brand new member of the team, new teacher, had a bit of a complaint that they weren't sure about the things that needed to happen. It wasn't clear what they needed to do. And it was really interesting because it could have been a moment for the team to fall apart. And of course, it was a worry. It was natural to worry. This was a new situation for everybody. They were worried about, did they have enough resources to deliver what they were expected to deliver just 2 days later? And one other member of the team said, "I don't know what we'll do yet, but we'll tackle it as a team like we do everything." And I knew from that point we were just going to be absolutely just fine. So that is how our team became amazing, and they really are. They really live up to that. They're really, really good. Right, I will get round to the chat little bits as we go through. I'm going to move on to the first section, and the question for you was about whether you want distraction free or whether you want full Android. So make a decision on that. And first of all, going to tell you about, well, what should you choose? How should you make that choice if you're sure you want a full Android Eink tablet? All right. Thanks so much for watching. Just watching the majority of videos or watching all the way through videos is an amazing way that you can help out with the channel. So thanks so much for sticking around through this live stream. I hope you find it useful and helpful. Let me know though if there's anything that you want to see more of or less of. Don't forget that by hitting that like button is absolutely free, and it does send a message to the algorithm that this is content that people find valuable, and therefore it will help it to spread to more people. So please, before we jump back into the live stream, just scroll down a bit and press that thumbs up. Let's go back to Kit live. So if you want full Android, I'm convinced you want books, right? Then the question is, what books do you want? If you can't decide which one of the books tablets do you want. So I'm going to run through a way to think about the books lineup. And certainly when the Books Tab Ultra, which is this device that we've got in front of us right here, when that first came out, people were like, "Oh, I'm so confused now about this lineup. You know, which one should I buy?" Well, they're split into, for me anyway, they're split into two categories. They're split into one category, which is better for notes and reading, and they're very good for notes and reading. And the other category, which this belongs to, is more of a productivity device. It's still good for notes and reading, don't get me wrong. But certainly, if you want notes and reading purely, then you should perhaps think about what I'm going to put in this column. And we're going to put the devices, all the different options that books have, into these two columns. Just wanted to get that straight. And this is going to be an increasing size and therefore increasing expense, because the reason why these are increasing in expense is because the reason why these are expensive in the slightest is because of the e-ink screen is an expensive piece of tech. So this is higher price down the bottom here as well. I think I'll just boost the lights just a little bit to give us a bit more of a glow there. So on the notes and reading side, in the small end, you can have the pure readers, the Poke or the Leaf. Essentially, the Poke is the size of an ordinary Kindle and the Leaf is the size of a Kindle Oasis. So that's the smallest and cheapest of the books devices. They're still full Android. There's still, lots to love about them because of that. The next one, in this notes and reading kind of category, would be the Nova Air 2. So the Nova Air line, if you like, the Nova Air 2 is their current one. That is the A5 device. That is an excellent note taker and an excellent reader, but it's not going to be a productivity powerhouse like what will be over here. And then there is the Note Air 2, and the Note Air 2 Plus, which is the most recent one. This is now the A5 size. So this was the A6 size, and this is now the A5 size. And then you've also got well, you don't really have another thing now, the current device, in the pure notes and reading. It would have been a Max Lumi, but that has been superseded by the Tab X. On the productivity side, you've got the choice, therefore, of the Tab Ultra and now the Tab Ultra C, and that's the same size as the Note Air 2 Plus, but it is leaning more towards a productivity device. And finally, you've got the A4 size, which is the Tab X. I'm curious whether you have seen the Tab X video that I dropped just last night. Let me know what you think about that. I've really enjoyed making the 3 reviews. There's another one coming really soon, tomorrow, and there's another one coming the day after that as well. 2 really recent reviews. I put a lot of time into those, and I think they look really good. So, I'm really pleased with the way they've turned out. Let me know if you've seen the Tab X review and what you think of that video specifically. But that's not all I'm going to just talk about for books. I'm going to help you make the decision with a little bit more on this device as well, so just to have a kind of look. Because if you want an Android tablet, then look what else you can do. You can use Android style navigation to go into your recents and go back to the website ewritable.com, where I've loaded up the comparison chart that I have worked with Dan to make by providing the data on all the different categories that I use to compare the Eink tablets. I'm going to talk briefly about what these categories are. The use cases was the first way that I actually started comparing Eink tablets. It was just on the use cases, things like artwork, design, presenting, all those different things that you might do on tablets. And then I started to think about, well, people in my audience tend to be professional people with responsible jobs who need things to do help them with their professional workflows. And so I thought through different professional behaviors, things that professionals need to do in their daily work. Like, for instance, I'm a teacher. If you're a lawyer or a doctor, what things would you need? So they're the second comparison that we'll do. And then I split it into 3 categories with your help in the audience actually thinking about exactly what I should include. And this is what we came up together, was that you think about it in software, then the hardware, and then the manufacturer. So I'm going to actually get 3 spider charts. So what you can do on this, you can also incidentally compare them by specifications on Dan's website. But what I've done is enabled you to compare them based on the scores that I've given these devices, based on my use of them at work. And that's really my offer here on this channel when it comes to Eink tablets, is I will use these things for work, and then I will produce you content which tells you about their actual use in the real life world of a real professional using them at work. So here's the first sort of set of comparison things. We're looking at the 4 main books devices. We're not talking about the Poke or the Leaf. So the 4 main categories right now. The Note Air 2 Plus, you can see the glorious color screen there. I thought about making this into a little PowerPoint, but I thought, no, do you know what? They're probably going to want to see it on the Tab Ultra screen, because why not? So the blue in the background there is the Note Air 2 Plus, a previous absolute winner. And then you can see basically the Note Air 2 Plus and the Nova Air is just lagging that slight bit behind in all categories. In fact, I hadn't really realized this was the case, but look, it's just 1 behind. The Nova Air is just 1 behind the Note Air 2 Plus in every single one of these categories. So you can see it as just being a mini Note device, really, Note Air device. But then in all of the categories, apart from in the reading, and I'll tell you why the Tab X, which is the lighter, I guess that will be a green on a normal screen, but they do struggle to render greens really well, color Eink. Why the Tab X is actually the better reader, in my opinion, than the Note Air 2 Plus. But you see, the Note Air 2 Plus is a better reader than this, which is the Tab Ultra. And I put the Tab Ultra to be just for pure reading in line with the Nova Air 2. That's because it's weightier. Also, its battery is not as good by a long shot. And those are things that are important in readers. The battery, in fact, so to give you a ballpark, I loaded this, I booted this back up. It was at 50 when I started sitting down to set everything up, which was about an hour and a half ago. So it's gone down 5% in that time. So, that's reasonably significant. The battery life is not great on this latest Boox Tab Ultra C here. So moving along here, so art, I've actually scored those much higher than the Note Air 2 Plus and the Nova Air. And the reason for that is because now they have tilt the pencils, which is absolutely great. And obviously the Tab Ultra C is great and it's better than the Tab Ultra, which I haven't put into this comparison, just it will get a bit too busy, I think. But because it has that color, and I don't know if you saw my lock screen at the very start, but it does look really good. If you see my videos about actually drawing on it, it is great. I've also put the Tab Ultra C slightly higher for work and quite considerably higher. Although these are good scores, the Note Air 2 Plus is good for work. It is really, really good for work. But it doesn't have the keyboard case and it doesn't have the ability to use apps in this amazing way. I mean, look what screen mode I'm in right now. I'm in balanced screen mode and I don't even need to, in my opinion, go to ultra fast, although scrolling on a website looks great on ultra fast. I think balance mode is it's a pretty well balanced mode for everything that you want to do on your e-ink tablet. And I can at any point do a full refresh and it looks nice and crisp and clear on the balanced mode, but it's not like that HD mode, which is refreshing all the time. Tab X I put a little bit lower in work, even though it is very large and that is excellent for work-based applications. I put it a little bit lower because it is, you know, it doesn't have the keyboard case, and the keyboard case is a really useful thing. And also it doesn't have the color, which work-based apps are very good when you use them with color. Presenting, both of them score highly, but again, Tab Ultra C giving you the option of using full PowerPoint app on your work account, so you can access all of your work PowerPoints and present either by Miracast or by actually using Space Desk, as I've demonstrated in a recent video, to just mirror a computer screen, so you can use it to swipe along. It's got all the input, the two-way input. And the design of them, I really like the design of the Tab Ultra C. I know a lot of people don't. I don't mind the camera bump because it's always going to live in one of its two cases. And I don't mind the sharp edges, although since people have been noticing the sharp edges, I have noticed them more, which is an interesting thing. But I like things like the fingerprint reader. It all works quite well. I like the design of the Tab Ultra C. I really love the design of the Note Air 2 Plus as well, but I prefer the design a little bit more in the Tab Ultra C. Having the pogo pins is great. So here's what you can do on this website is I can leave those four actually selected, and I can take off these use cases and I can go through and add in the professional behaviors now. Now, the idea of this is not so that you go through and compare all of them like we're talking through today, but it's so that you pick the things that matter most to you, and then you can get my sort of opinions on them with a comparison chart on the things that matter to you. And it's nice, isn't it, that I can show them in a video like this. Let me know if you're getting value from this. Let me know if this is useful. I hope it I would love to review the Lenovo Smart Paper. If anyone's got any contacts at Lenovo, let me know, because I can't seem to find an email address which will lead me to a real person and get them to send me one out. But who knows, if I can buy it in the shop for not too expensive, I might give that a go. Cool. So I will have a look through the chat later on, but let's plow on through these comparisons as well. We've got a lot to cover in this evening's presentation. I've just got 1 hour and then I'm back for about 25 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, something like that for members. So that member offer is there if you're interested in that. So this is the professional behaviors, and I think they're really, really important. And communication, you can see I've put the Tab Ultra C higher because it's an excellent communicator. You can, you know, the Nova Air 2 is great for communication, but it's never going to replace your laptop for writing emails, for instance. This can replace your laptop for writing emails. The Tab X, not quite so much, because you are going to have that keyboard case with you at all times. Collaboration though, Tab X and Tab Ultra C are really, really good for that. Absolutely they are, because you've got your full Android apps and you've got access to your you've got access to all of the work-based apps, the work-based Microsoft Cloud, if you use that. For reading and learning, I've put the Tab X right at the top. There's no surprise about that. That's because, once again, it's got that huge screen for reading academic papers, which is what most of us who are on this live stream today will be most concerned about, I'm sure. Sure, comics and things look great on the Tab Ultra C, but I'm pretty much sure that the majority of my audience will be, tell me I'm wrong. Everybody, please do that. Do tell me that I'm wrong. That you love comics, and Kit, you should get off your high horse about comics. There's absolutely nothing wrong with reading comics, of course, but I tend to get comments that people are interested in academic documents more than that. Again, Tab Ultra C is coming out and planning on organization. Tab X is also very good there as well. The best one is the Tab Ultra C. Once again, because you can plan and organize with the help of any other app that you can get on the Android ecosystem. And then innovation and creation, I put Tab Ultra C and Tab X equal because the big screen for things like art is absolutely fabulous. I think I might have offended a few people with comics because some people have just dumped the stream. Cool. And then again, I can change what I want to compare on. And you can see also how well this is working. You know, it's just getting every single finger touch just right. You know, the Eink screen and all the Wacom input and all the touch is really, really good on this. You can see pretty much a lot of these, especially the ones that are compared with things that are the same throughout books, are the same. So all the stuff about the company, the cloud, the updates, the customer service are all exactly the same. Hardware features, you can see that the Tab Ultra C is just streets ahead of the others. The Tab X and the Nova 2, they're a little bit behind. I suppose I should have put the Tab X a little bit higher than the other two because of that huge screen. It is absolutely a fabulous screen, and the GPU. But I think the other things that you get with the Tab Ultra series are really nice, especially the keyboard case. Design and build, you can see actually, look, the Note Air 2 Plus, I did give a very high score on the design and build. It is a really good design, and it will still appeal to some people more than the Tab Ultra. And that's what I'm saying about if you know you want Android, but you know you're still wanting a reading and note-taking focused device, that's what it's there for. It is still a viable and still a very good device. And pen and screen feel, actually, have I put them all on exactly the same? All of them. Yeah, all of them on 7. I don't dislike the screen feel of the Tab Ultra. It isn't iPad-esque, and the pens are all the same as well. Again, I think the pen and screen feel comes down to personal preference. There are some which objectively are not as good. Tends to be the ones that aren't Wacom, incidentally, or the ones that go for more solid tips that last for longer, excluding the Supernote, which has its own feeling. I think pen and screen feel is personal preference. You can see where the Tab Ultra and Tab X just really excel is the other apps, and the Tab Ultra C especially because it has that color as well, and you can just see how well it's running here with the browser, for instance, which is ordinary Chrome in Android, and the reading app, same for all of them. Okay, so that is your run through of all of the books, tablets, and which ones I think you should buy. Anyone thinking about these? Anyone umming and erring? Anyone, is that helpful for you? Is that helped you make the decision? And we'll be back if you are somebody who is more of a distraction-free person. And I think that's a real thing. I had kind of dismissed that a little bit because, of course, you can turn notifications off. You can see I've got notifications off at the top here. But distraction-free is not just that, because you can do so much more on these tablets, you do tend to do more on these tablets. Okay, and I'll be back with the next section, which is I'm going to show you this template in just a moment. So I just dropped the live stream for a few seconds to tell you something which might surprise you. Did you know that most of the people who watch my channel aren't actually subscribed? Even people that are regular viewers. What's that about? No worries, but really, channels like mine, it really does help with the way that robots decide who to send my videos out to. So take a moment to scroll down and check whether your button says subscribed or subscribe. If it says subscribe, then just click it, and let's get back into the live stream. Yeah, this is some interesting comments in here. Waiting for a Tab Ultra C Lite, cheaper version. That's an interesting point. I think that might be, if there is likely to be that might be a Note Air C rather than a Tab Ultra C. We'll see. They might think that they do need, in fact, the full computing power of the Tab Ultra to get the best out of the color Eink screen. We will see with all its other features. Good point though. Yes, we have tried third-party drawing apps. I'm afraid the response is not great. It is just the case that it has to be designed to work with the Wacom pen, with the Eink. Otherwise, it's just, it's just slow. It's back to whatever refresh rate the screen is, rather than the sort of individual areas that are able to be refreshed in the note-taking app here. And what's the battery life like? We talked about it briefly at the start. Am I happy with it? Yes. Like, is it amazing like it is on a lot of other e-ink tablets? No, not in the slightest. In fact, it is only as good as the iPad sort of length of battery life. So it isn't what's the word I'm looking for? It isn't as bad as an Android tablet. It isn't every day. It isn't every day you need to charge it. That's what I wanted to say. It is every other or every third day that I'm having to charge it. And sometimes it is better. It depends what you're using it for. It's running down more at the minute because I'm using it quite intensely with quite a lot of I'm asking quite a lot from the GPU. Okay, so here's the next little section. This is the Evaluate Everything Knowledge Management System. And this is, this has started small and has grown to be quite big. But I'm someone, I hope you've seen probably on my channel, I'm someone that's been using Xtiles for the last 6 months. And every video idea that you've seen on my channel in the last 6 months has actually started as an idea that I've noted down into maybe a quick note into Xtiles, or I've worked it up into a full script within Xtiles. So let me show you. So actually, I'll show you the Xtiles that I'm reading off as I'm going through this now. Not reading it all word for word, but that I'm going through. So this is Xtiles, and I've got to actually show my screen, of course, otherwise you don't see it. This is Xtiles here, and the problem that I've had is that I've got more ideas than I actually have time to to follow through on. And so I had to invent a way to manage that knowledge. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. I have to ensure that the ideas that I actually follow through on are actually worth my time and effort. I use this knowledge management system to keep track, or use Xtiles to keep track of complex projects, including adding dated tasks. So I can turn anything into a task. Just in here, just go turn into, and I just go task. And then I can add a date to that task, or not, and it comes up in my tasks view at the top here. But one of my favorite ways to use Xtiles is to use the templates, and I'll talk about that now. Other things that you can include links. Here's an example of a link, images, or attached files. It's a bit like 3 apps in one. It's great that you can use it across all different platforms as well. But one of my best ways currently is using templates. Xtiles and I decided to collaborate to bring you a template that I actually use to manage my knowledge before it goes into a given project. And you can do that. You can find this now by following this link. So if you follow this link, which is in the description, then it'll take you to the template that I'm showing you just now. And let's leave that one up now. And when you open it up, it'll take you straight to the new template, and you can start using it right away after you've seen my little tutorial that I'm going to show you in a moment. And what you can do is you can put your first piece of knowledge through it. So I'll show you exactly how to do it there. It's all about evaluating your knowledge and ideas. And this is the start, of something bigger, where I'm going to talk a lot and in depth about how to be productive in my way, in the evaluate everything way. Okay, so I hope it's going to be really, really useful to you. So for example, right, so you might get an idea, a piece of knowledge from a book or from listening to a podcast. You've captured that as a thought, and the way to capture a thought is in quick notes that come in just here. And you can do that in your phone. You can do that on the, as you can see just here, at any point. And you can grab these and you can import these. You can drag these and import them onto any page that you're on in Xtiles. So a piece of knowledge comes in at one end, right? And then what you need to do before you actually put that into a bigger project, you need to evaluate it first. So you need to really assess whether that knowledge is applicable to your context, whether it's worth the time, whether it's worth the expense that you might actually put into that idea. And that's where this template is going to help you. It's like a lens where your thoughts pass before they get exported into other projects. And let me show you how it works. And you'll see how you can manage that whole evaluation process with this Xtiles template. And I'm going to show you now in this little video, I'm going to show you exactly a step step by step of how I evaluated a piece of knowledge. I want to show you how to use the new Evaluate Everything knowledge management system. So it works a bit like this. I've got an idea that I've maybe jotted down in my quick notes. I'm going to bring that in as a block of text, and I'm actually going to turn that into a sub page. This is an idea that I've just had, and I want to make this actually into a live stream. So I'm going to choose a template, live stream, add that in there. But in this one, I'm going to evaluate the knowledge. I take it through these steps. Step 1, basically import the knowledge. As in, next step, apply it to your context. And applying it to my context, thinking, is that going to be useful for me on my channel? So open up again. So applying that to my context is talking about, is it actually going to be useful in my own projects? Where is it going to sit? It's going to be a live stream, and it's going to be useful to help people make a decision about which tablet they want to buy. Now, cost versus benefit. I think it's got a low cost and a high benefit, so that's good. And lastly, ease versus impact. Will it be easy for me to do? So I actually have already thought this idea through. I do know what my answer to that will be. I just need to flesh that out into a kind of story. So that will take some time, but I can think about maybe writing that. Okay, I'm going to write that. And I think if I put in plenty of Q&A at the end, I think, yeah, that title is going to get a lot of interest, and also I think that it is going to help people choose the best ink tablet for them, especially if I put that Q&A in at the end. So I think that's good. Now I can have my whole live stream planner in here. Also, if I wanted to expand this out to a larger project, I could add any other template into here as well. Maybe I need to put a weekly planner in, or I could go ahead and put a Kanban board in. Why not? There it is. I can add my tasks in here on the way to making this live stream, or I can use whatever other board that I might need for this particular project. And this is a good example of one. Now, what I can do with this here is I can actually turn this into lots of different things. I can turn this into a page itself. I could actually then move that entire page to a different part. I could move it back into my quick notes if I wanted to, and then I could move it out to my video planners here, and then I have my sub page in my video planners, for example. Lots of different options, and that has gone through the knowledge management check. I think that's a good idea. I think that's a goer, and now I can begin planning it. Cool. So that is just, I think that's a really good idea. I think that's a really good way to use it. You can move everything around really quite naturally. It's just very easy to move things around. This could be a piece of knowledge that is a tile that you move through. So you could actually move a tile through these columns, or a single block of text, or I really like that, where you can actually make a sub page and then just go into that page at one click and then go back in the browser to bring yourself back here to the main page. And the great thing about making these templates is that as soon as I started developing this template, and I got lots of ideas, and as soon as we decided to pick one, I got some really evaluative comments from the team at Xtiles, and they really helped me to get these ideas formulated into more templates, which I'm looking forward to sharing with you later. So let me know if you like this idea, this particular template, because I've got some other things that I think can help you to think in this evaluative way. And I look forward to sharing them with you. And they're also going to make their way into the book that I'm writing, which is the working title, The Evaluate Everything System. And that is currently a whole little project within Xtiles, which I won't preview for you at this point, which maybe we could do in a membership thing. If you're interested at any point, just ask away. And which, of course, I'm developing that in Xtiles. Of course, I would use Xtiles. I've been using it for just about everything. But Xtiles, when I started making the projects, when I started making the templates, Xtiles really challenged me to make something really big. They challenged me to think deeper and be more ambitious. And that's one of the things about the Evaluate Everything mindset, is to try and take critical feedback positively, just to evaluate and to reevaluate based on other people's reactions to your work. Because it's usually those moments which occur just before you arrive at something really good. And when you actually take people's feedback for what it's meant, which is to be useful to you, that's when something good is about to happen. So I'm getting really excited for this project. I think we've hit on something really good here. I think this is the start of developing a deeper structure to all of reading, learning, and managing knowledge, and planning and organizing large and impactful projects, and working with knowledge across many contexts. This is the sort of key thing. If you take your ideas through this process and really evaluate them, it's a key idea. And if you want to give this a template a go right now, you can just go straight into the description and you can start using it. I know this is going to help you on the route to resilient productivity, and I can't wait to bring you more of my ideas of how we can use this great thinking tool, Xtiles, the amazingly talented developers at Xtiles have brought us. Please do fire us straight away in the chat with any questions if any of that wasn't clear. And if you're watching the replay, why don't go ahead and pause the video now and give it a go right now. Maybe evaluate that good idea that you had in the shower this morning. So thanks once again for Xtiles for sponsoring that portion of the video. Thanks so much for joining the live stream or for watching the replay. Just being here and watching the majority of the videos is a really, really useful way to help my channel grow. But if you want to say thanks in a really simple but also meaningful way, it's just to share out my videos like this one. Just copy the link from the browser or press the share button on your phone and copy the link, then paste it into wherever you discuss e-ink tablets. A group on Facebook, a Reddit subreddit, or a Discord server. Pop that link in there and say, Kit's demonstrating e-ink tablets live. Jump in. Again, I love hanging out with you people, and I appreciate you spending your time watching these live streams. I really enjoy making them with you. So thanks very much, and I really appreciate that. I do mean that. I really do enjoy these things. That also, watching those quick clips lets me read your comments, fire away with any more questions. Item 5 is going to be a Q&A session, so I will answer those then if I don't answer them beforehand. The next thing I want to show you is just a little bit of news, which is that Kindle Scribe have actually given you a way to access your notebooks online. If you go to read.amazon.com Kindle-notebook, here at the top, sorry, you're not looking at the screen that I am, my apologies. If you go to read.amazon.com/Kindle/notebook, you'll be taken to a screen like this, which, as long as you're logged into your Amazon account, you will find it right here. And you can click on a notebook, and there it is. You can't do anything more with it. You can't draw on it, but you get a preview. I think you can actually, save it or print it. I'm not sure what it comes down as. Let's try that actually. That's going to come down as a web page, isn't it? Yeah, web page. Or of course you could screen grab it. But this, I think, might just be an indication of what might be coming next in their next update. Let's hope at least that is what's coming in their next update. And probably with a more full implementation and instructions on the way it can be used. But you could see there the folders were all there. If I go back, the folders are all here. What my nice little drawings of spiders look like. Is it quite quick even with a big one? Yes, this is quite a large document. It's not too slow in loading. So they are there on the cloud. We knew they were up there in the cloud, but we didn't know where they were. And it turns out that they are indeed there and available. Yeah, there's nothing on that page. That's why it took a little while to read. It's always interesting how different things look when you are on a pure black and white of a screen rather than, that's just me zooming in and out, rather than on the actual tablet. It always looks grayer on the tablet. Right, okay, so the next one, what if you wanted distraction free? So remember my question from the start, are you going at full Android or distraction free? Well, hopefully I helped you with these comparisons, how to make the decision. If you want full Android, you want books, basically. I think that's the best one. An interesting comment that I read there about the color light. It is nice hardware, the Big Me hardware, absolutely. The software has a lot of catching up to do, but they are, I think, on their way to catching up, at least. We will see. Let us know, please. Let us know what you think of the Big Me Inknote color light. That I think prompted the comment earlier on about a book's light, but perhaps. So let's talk about the 4 options I think you have. If you're sure you want distraction free, the 4 options that I think you have, and I'm really pleased there is another recommendation now, as well as the remarkable if you want distraction free. I think the Amazon Kindle Scribe, if you want distraction free, is, with all its updates now, it's getting there as an option. Obviously, the remarkable is the one that began it all, the one that kind of coined the phrase really distraction free. And That's their main marketing message. Also, the Kobo Ellipsa 2E, which is the review that's going to drop tomorrow. And then finally, the Ratta Supernote A5X. So now we're going to go back firstly to our first use cases. And I'm going to bin off the 9 points here. What do you think about these, by the way? Just let me know what you think about these conversion tables. Have you used these yet? They've been useful to you? I hope this is also a very good demonstration of the Tab Ultra C. So here we go. The Kindle Scribe, first of all, you can see is, I think, is the pinnacle of reading really on the Eink tablet. Just pure reading. Okay, no, that the other one had the same size with the Tab X because of the size there, but just out of these, of the distraction-free kings, this is the one. And the reading on the Kobo Ellipsa 2 is just a little bit behind because it doesn't have the full oh, apologies, I've gone back on the browser there just by hitting the button there. It doesn't have the full 300 dpi screen. And then for art, way out ahead is the Remarkable 2, and the Kindle Scribe is lagging a little bit behind, even with that pen update, because they don't have layers. It is really good, the Kindle Scribe. It is close to being a really usable sketchbook. I'm pretty sure the Tab Ultra C is on a par with that for art at the minute. But you can see I wouldn't recommend the Kobo Ellipsa 2E for art, certainly not, or the Supernote. Neither of them are a fulfilling drawing experience if that's what you're into. And I've obviously put the Supernote slightly higher than the Remarkable for reading, because the Remarkable does not allow you anything apart from PDFs, basically, and you could sideload some EPUBs if you wanted to. That's your lot. Whereas the Supernote does have the Kindle app option. For work, I've put that the Ratta Supernote is the one. I mean, none of these are really designed purely for doing everything that you might want to at work. And this is, remember, in a comparison score with things like this, which are amazing for work and can do everything that any Android tablet can, really, for work at least. Kobo Ellipsa 2E, a little bit behind that. It's got that advanced notebook. So the Ratta Supernote has email. In fact, it's got calendar. Not that I really find them to be the best implementation or the most natural one to use. The Scribe for work is not really there yet. Maybe the cloud might help. Remarkable for work. I honestly don't think it is the best device for work. It's okay as a companion. Yes, they have a limited Microsoft integration, but that just means that you can send things to the device as basically a flat PDF that you can annotate. So that's all just markup. Presenting, the Remarkable 2 could actually be used along with the work case. The use case is actually linked in there with PowerPoint, because you could make a PowerPoint, and then you could send it to your Remarkable, and you could screen share your Remarkable to a screen, and you could write on it, which is actually quite a nice way to work. That is the only one really that's got that viability. You could do a little bit more presentation on the Supernote, of course, which now has a screen share, but I don't think it's really there. I think I need to increase that somewhat, though, that Supernote screen share presenting mode there. The design of them, I love the design of the Supernote. I really do. There's a lot of discussion about that, but the Remarkable 2 and the Supernote are very different, but very lovely designs. There was a comment on my channel recently that said they weren't so keen on the Supernote design. I think it is a matter of preference. Remarkable is a very well designed device, and it's why it's so copied by so many people. It is really nice. They are specialists in the design, and the way they've designed this keyboard case is fabulous. If you haven't seen that already, I've got lots of content going through the details of this stuff. I'm just trying to cover an awful lot in a short live stream. And yeah, and that's your lot. Writing, the Supernote is the place for writing. The Supernote is one of the best devices for writing. You can do a Bluetooth keyboard if you wish. You've got handwriting recognition, which automatically handwriting recognition happens in the background. Kobo Ellipsa 2E has a really good advanced notebook. It's just let down by the actual pen, and the fact that it keeps to every single time you convert a sentence, it brings up a dialogue box, and it's just, it's the opposite to flow. And when you write, if you write, you know you need flow, right? Okay. And then where have I put this? The Kindle Scribe is just not there for writing really yet. Yes, there is the handwriting recognition now, but they all do that, and it doesn't do it in a sort of really mega useful way. It's just sort of email it to yourself. It was pretty accurate though. I was reasonably pleased with how accurate it was. And then next, professional behaviors for thinking, for decision making, for reading and learning, for planning, and for innovation and creation. And I've got to just press go, and it takes me to builds me a whole new spider chart to have a little look at these professional behaviors. Right there at the top, thinking and decision making. I think thinking and deciding on the really focused devices, the Supernote and the Remarkable 2, is absolutely brilliant. A place for your thoughts is the marketing language. The first thing you open up on, excuse me, when you buy a Remarkable, a place for your thoughts. We've designed Remarkable to get out of your way. And somebody's just noticed in here, I don't really understand the distraction-free argument. You can make any device distraction-free if you want. Yes, I agree, and that's where I was before I reviewed the Kobo Ellipsa 2E. And when I reviewed the Kobo Ellipsa 2E, I just really enjoyed reading on it. I really enjoyed, this is it here, I really enjoyed, look how quick it is to open up. And if you were reading a book rather than being an advanced notebook, that was on standby. I haven't touched this for since last night. It goes, opens up straight back where you are into reading book. It's just, all you can do on this device is you can read and you can write. So that is all you do on it. And that's what we're talking about for focus. That's not the case with the Tab Ultra C. I'm constantly thinking to myself with the Tab Ultra C, oh, I should write that email on the Tab Ultra C rather than on my laptop, because then I'll get that time off the screen. I won't have my eyes being damaged and tired out by looking at a screen. And that's the case. And it's brilliant for doing the email, but then it's not so easy to like flick back and go back to the thing you were reading. It's, it's not hard, but the point is, look, these are the distractions. All these different apps that I'm using, they are the distractions. And I love it. This is the device that I would wholeheartedly, number one, recommend to you. But that's because on that divide of reading or learning or productivity, I'm definitely, with my Eink tablet, sitting over here at this point, more towards the productivity end of the scale. My needs have become from, first of all, just wanting them to replace my planner at work, which was really kind of over here somewhere. I have a smaller Eink reader for reading. I've found that actually, as I've used these, I've shifted across to the more productivity orientated end. And now I feel my use case has changed gradually over time to become more productivity orientated. I wasn't expecting that necessarily. It's great. I couldn't go back to Remarkable right now for the long term anyway. And actually, sometimes when I drive when I'm evaluating, when I'm reviewing a distraction-free device, I take the Tab Ultra C or whichever books device I'm working with at that point. I take that along with me because I know there will be a point where I'm like, yeah, I want to browse the internet. I need to browse the internet for something, but I want to do it on Eink. So I want the books device in my bag. So there we are. That's my 2 cents on that. Good question. So that's pure teacher stuff, isn't it? Good question. There's a praise point for you. And you can see for thinking and decision making, the Kindle Scribe and the Kobo Ellipsa are just they're not as focused on making notes and thinking through your ideas. They're more focused on reading. Great for reading. Communicating, the Remarkable 2 does have the cloud functions, does have the option to send things by email to different email addresses. That's about all really. It's the Rata Supernote, I don't think that the email is well implemented. It does it, but I'll be honest, I don't think it does it well. Kindle Scribe, basically no way to communicate from it. The Kobo Ellipsa I put on there because you can make Word documents that can go, they could be synced with a shared, or not synced, but they could be uploading to a shared Dropbox or something like this. Collaboration, that's why the Kobo Ellipsa is there, because you could have that synced to a shared Dropbox. and be making Word documents that come out as nice looking Word documents. And you can build, you can add maths in there, you can add flow charts and things like that, and come through really nicely into Word. And we can see the Supernote for collaboration and the Kindle Scribe. Not really much on offer there. For reading and learning, no surprise, the Scribe and the Ellipser are higher up than the other two, and the Supernote slightly higher than the Remarkable. Planning and organization, the Supernote is the one because it has the calendar in there, and because it tends to feel more like a notebook than a diary, whereas the Remarkable, Remarkable and Scribe I like more almost as a sketchbook than as a notepad, and that's why they are where they are in these ones. But innovation and creation isn't just art. Innovation and creation is also about writing. And when I pick up my Supernote, I want to start writing, like, not a few notes. I want to start writing prose. I want to start writing. Let me look at it. I want to start writing like full novels. Frankly, I have a couple of novels, and I want to start writing like this. And if this appeals to you, this is the one to get. This is a beautiful pen. It's not a stylus at this point. Handwriting looks great on it. This is great. I can't wait for the next generation of these devices, to be quite honest. And yeah, like if I was to pull out one device because I had a poem ready to go, it's not unusual with me. I wanted to write a poem, then this is where I would be doing that. So if that's you, if that's your innovation and creation gig, definitely go and have a look at the Supernote. Okay, where are we up to? Last one, last comparison then. Same for distraction-free devices, and then I'll get to the Q&A section. Thanks so much if you've been hanging on for that. Going to have a little chat at the end, have a little chat afterwards. I'm going to talk about, I'm going to preview in my members only live stream things which I will be reviewing next. So some things that are coming up for review soon. It's really quite exciting. And we're going to have one last look at the big comparison here. So Notes app, you can see I put the Supernote one at the top. It does background. It does automatic hand recognition in the background, which is absolutely fabulous. Remarkable 2 a little bit behind that. They've made some improvements in terms of adding the type folio, adding the type text, adding the handwriting recognition, improving that in the device. Kobo Ellipser 2e has a good Notes app, except it's the opposite of flow. So it's okay for jotting things down, but if you want to write something serious, you don't need that. And the Kobo, the Kindle Scribe is just not the best by some long shot. But they have improved it and are, I hope, continuing to improve it in the future. More on that in the future. The Kindle Scribe is the top for the reading app. It is a great reading app. What I really love about the reading app is the popular highlights, because it takes you straight to points in the book that everyone seems to find important. And that can only be done because there's so many people who use Kindle. So the Kindle library is great. Kobo Ellipser is obviously a great reading app as well. But the Remarkable and the Supernote lag behind there. Other apps, just not much to speak of at all, really, in any of these devices. You can see the Supernote slightly higher because you do have the Kindle in there. Pen and screen fill. I love the pen and screen fill on the Rata Supernote. Some people don't. Some people talk about it being quite plasticky. I actually do think it feels like a nice rollable pen. Or gel pen or something like that. It's good. I think it's excellent. It's my favorite of the screen fields for writing. It's not my favorite of the screen fields for drawing. The Kindle Scribe is a really good screen field. There's no doubt about that, as is the Remarkable. So there's some very good things there. They've all got the Wacom stuff apart from the Ellipser. The Ellipser pen is, well, if you want to write a lot, you're not going for the Ellipser. If you want to read a lot and occasionally jot down a few notes, then Ellipser is just good enough. The Remarkable design is fabulous. The Supernote design is fabulous. Kindle Scribe is okay. I'm not the massivest fan of the aluminium. Some people are fans of the aluminium. I just don't think it's the very best design and build out there. And I did have a problem with the slight gap between the screen. Well, that seems to have changed. It seems to have almost gone down the gap size, but it just never has felt like everyone has talked about it as being the most premium design and build device. I don't think so. The pen is not my favorite pen. It's not a bad pen, but it's not my favorite. Okay, so the Kobo Ellipser 2E is not the best design, although it's the lightest of the bunch. The hardware features, the Kindle Scribe has the 300 dot print screen, which is the most important thing about it. It's the thing. If you know you want the best in current Eink screen technology, Kindle Scribe is the option. And the other ones lag a little bit behind that. Remarkable too, they're due an update. Kobo Ellipser 2E, if only they had included Wacom. I think I saw a comment like that earlier on. If only the Ellipser 2E had included Wacom, then I think that they would be a different device, frankly. It was somewhere up there, but hey. And then other things like customer service, difficult to test out because I haven't had much time to use it. But the stories that I've read, what I did was have a good internet search to see how much complaining and how bad the complaining was. The stories generally were pretty good about Supernote, and they are like lovely people who really just want everyone to love them and love their brand. So you get good things when you talk to them. Amazon are quite good with returns and things, I find. So I've given that quite a good score. The other two, remarkable, the horror stories there. And there must have been some bad stories about Kobo. Oh, the Kobo, the reason why I downgraded the Kobo is because the story is that people find it really difficult to get in contact with an actual human being. And I know AI chatbots are getting better all the time, but it's just very frustrating when you just want to explain something to somebody who you hope can help you, and you just can't get in contact with the right things. The Remarkable Cloud's actually really good, in my opinion. It's available on 3 different devices. It's good. Supernote and Scribe. Well, Scribe's getting there. At least it's built in there. I've shown you that today. It's coming if it isn't sort of quietly launched in the background already. And the Kobo is a good cloud, but again, I don't think they're relying on you syncing your notebooks with third-party apps. They have given you more choice now. And updates, Supernote update path is great, and they share it with everyone, which is absolutely wonderful. And the Kindle Scribe updates, yeah, they're good, but they should have been launched with the device. Remarkable too, actually have now sort of ramped up their pace of updating, and when they do bring an update, it's normally useful. The Kobo Ellipser 2E seems to have very few updates in the actual software side of things since the original. The Writer Supernote Notes app is where we started, and that's all of the comparison that we're going to do. So I hope that was very, very useful to you. Let's chat some more. Thanks so much for watching. Please do post your comments and your questions in the chat, and I will get to them during the Q&A session at the end of the video or at key points during the video. Don't forget that super chats are available if you want to really highlight those questions to me. Totally no expectation there. If you do want to support the channel monetarily, then that option is also available. I've also added channel memberships as an option because many of you have been generous enough to give super chats in the live streams, and I wanted a way to actually offer something of value in exchange for that kindness. So rather than just buying me a non-alcoholic beverage with a super chat, now you can join me for one with only members straight after every live stream. Okay, has this been useful to you? We're going to do a bit of Q&A now. Has this helped you? Have you made a decision? Or if you already own one, why do you love the one that you're owning? Or why do you not love the one that you're owning and you want to change? Let's go through some things. Yeah, hi Kate. Yes, the Supernote does use Android, but you don't have Google Play Store. So if you want Android, you want to go with Boox. Interesting ones that I've seen earlier on. What's the biggest drawbacks of the Tab C? Probably the battery life, really. Probably the battery life. Somebody made a comment, yeah, seems like it would dig into your hand while you're writing. I don't find that. It's not uncomfortable. I honestly didn't notice the sharpness of the edges until I saw other reviewers talking about it. Yes, you notice it occasionally, but it doesn't hurt ever. I write on it a lot. I do work on it a lot. So thank you very much for the comment. Yes, it is super expensive. this is the price of having a niche technology, which is low in volume, and that's why I think that they won't become cheaper anytime soon. The good thing is big companies like Amazon getting involved in these large size e-readers should bring the volume up, and hopefully they'll be made in higher numbers and therefore become less expensive. It's an interesting one. Healing Shield screen protector, some titanium nibs. I've not seen that before. Improves the writing on the Tab Ultra C. Anyone else had any experience with those two? Titanium nibs, not tried those either. Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks, Carlos. Appreciate you just being here, and thanks very much for the comment. Yeah, I thought that's a good comparison. Feels like some energy for focus is used up if they're impulse for checking emails, browse the web, and read Twitter. You have to inhibit that. Yeah, no, I'm quite a focused person and quite a disciplined person around work, and I work hard when I work hard, and I relax when I relax, and I don't get too distracted on the devices. I find I do want the extra things, but there was something nice about just always having a really great e-reader. This is a good e-reader, and I still do use Kindle on it regularly. I've got myself obviously logged into Kindle in here, and I'm reading all the things, and it's great. This is a good book at the minute that I'm reading, and actually just using the Kobo has made me a bit more intentional about when I have time on my break to actually pull out the reading app rather than just go onto my notes or go onto the web. Some really nice things. Mountain biker. Your videos are fantastic. Getting close to making a decision. Awesome. Which one are you going for, buddy? Do you think Ultra Tab without color is worth the upgrade from the Note Air? Yeah, I do. If you want productivity, if you want full productivity, then do that. However, what I would say is it really worth the £40 not just getting the color, because the color is great. Let's just take a moment to appreciate color e-ink. It's a good time. It really is. It's good. Okay, thank you very much. I'm just going to show you, to allow me a bit of time to look through the comments. I'm just going to show you one more bit of VT, and I would look forward to, if any of you would like to join me on a live stream, then you can jump on that straight away. Thanks so much for watching. If you're here towards the end of the live stream, then I hope it's fair to say that you find this content valuable. I have found a way to offer even more value to you. If you want to go deeper and also to support the channel even more going forwards, channel memberships are a great way to get involved in more of a community and more of a conversational form of content. The key benefits to becoming an Evaluate Everything member are members-only live streams where I'll answer your questions and give you my insights into the devices that I'm evaluating even before I've published a full review. So if you do want a bit of a preview of the points that are going to make it into the full review before I've even been able to shoot or edit those videos, you can get involved with that. You can ask questions and request demos and really just discuss and influence the content as it goes forward. I really hope this community grows into a place where we can have a meaningful discussion around these devices that I evaluate. There'll also be community posts for members only discussions, and membership also means that your questions and comments are highlighted to me in my memberships area. There's no change to what I'm offering here for free, but here's an open invite for you to go deeper and help me to evaluate everything. Back to the live stream. Awesome. So thank you very much for listening to that. Well, how does the RM2 screen share work? In any case, I guess I can't use it on Linux. I wouldn't have thought so because it needs the desktop app. So you basically have to be on. No, you don't even need to be on the same Wi-Fi with the Supernote. No, sorry, the Remarkable 2 screen share. You just need to be logged in on a desktop app with the same account, and then it live screen shares to that account. So can you use it on Linux? Probably not, because I think there's only a PC or Mac thing. Books while looking for a free write traveler alternative. Which of these are the best for authors writing novels on the go? Definitely the Tab Ultra C. Yeah. No. Okay, that's a hard one. Okay. All right. I'm gonna talk about this for a moment then. Let's dive into this for a minute or so. I'm gonna solo this view. Right. So the three options are Tab Ultra C. It's got a keyboard case, which is absolutely fabulous. Remarkable, or the Supernote. So if you're like me and you want to like get into the flow of writing long form kind of script, then this is great because it does handwriting recognition in the background. So you don't have to tell it to recognize your handwriting. It's constantly doing that separately, and you can access that at any time. love this. It's pretty accurate, but you will need to either export that and go ahead and check your work and edit things. You will need to do that afterwards, or plug in a keyboard or Bluetooth a keyboard to it and do that on there afterwards. There's loads of content. I'm not going to get the keyboard case out now, but this is great because you can write in anything. I don't know if you write in, like, is it Scrivener, the thing that like lets you deal with all your chapters and things like that? Loads of authors like that. This, you could use any app at all. For instance, I'm talking about, I'm actually developing 2 of my books are currently sat in draft form in Xtiles because I'm moving the, I've got my chapters basically, and I can move the order around by moving the tiles around. It's a good time. And then the kind of sleeper of the bunch, now that it has a keyboard case, is the Remarkable. It's a really elegant device, the Remarkable. Again, solo this layout out. It used to be, where the pen's gone, must have fallen off somewhere. There is. It used to be just about writing notes, which was good. And then it became about writing notes, handwriting recognition, and remove that. Writing notes, handwriting recognition, and the keyboard case. And so that's a really nice place to begin typing your notes. And it goes automatically into landscape view. This might be a good choice. It's a really nice feeling keyboard. If you're an Apple-y person, in the kindest possible way, because I'm not. If you're an Apple and other devices, things, and you just want things to work in a kind of intuitive way, and you like things to have a nice aesthetic to them, Remarkable is a lovely place. I could certainly imagine writing a whole novel on this. I hope that answers your question, Kate. But yeah, Supernote. Peggy Lee has come shown and said Supernote's the place to write your novels. Interesting one here. A lot of ink pads share very similar features. Which ink device can convert handwritten text to typed text on the fly and allow keyboard indexing? I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that, my buddy. I think Supernote, but not others. Yeah, loads of them can convert handwriting, but the way the Supernote does it in the background is brilliant. It is really, really good. The Boox handwriting recognition has gone through several iterations, and you've just got all the options with Boox because you can do voice recognition as well. So if you want to get things down quickly, it's great. Thanks for your videos. I bought the Tab Ultra, not knowing that Ultra C was coming out. 300 that would have sold me, as I love the Kindle Scribe screen. Yeah, I do understand that. That's a frustration, isn't it? But my suggestion would be to love the one you're with. Just love the Tab Ultra for this time, and wait for the second generation of the color screen on the books. Really. Still looking for Eink helpful for a PhD student. Lots of academic reading, note keeping, and some email admin thinking. Boox Ultra, yes, but if you know that it's going to be a frustration reading on the smaller screen, then the thing to go for is the Tab X. Just released a full review of the Tab X, which is the bigger. For me, it's the only choice in the full A4 size device. It is amazing. It is really, really, something else. Hopefully there will be a color coming along in the not too distant future, but I don't think that's going to be imminent. But you could certainly wait for a full size color, maybe with a keyboard case in the future as well. Wouldn't it be nice as well if Boox made a true Eink laptop? That's something I'm thinking that I would love to see them do. But yeah, the Ultra C is amazing. The way the Neo Reader works with what they call article mode, and split screen or rotating the screen to give you top half and bottom half of an A4 sheet is really good as well. It's pretty seamless, so I would definitely like that. I would definitely recommend this one for your academic PDFs as well. Have I used Obsidian, or I haven't used Logsec? I've used Obsidian like very briefly, so I can't speak to it really. I really have been enjoying Xtiles. I do want to branch out and look at other things and do comparison videos, but it's just about having time. So I put the idea that making comparison videos about different productivity apps, what far and wide, I like using them, I like trying them out, but really, I'm so focused in my time on what I need to get done that I think the idea of sitting and testing out a whole bunch of apps just for the sake of making those videos, just I don't think it's worth my time at this point, but maybe next year, you never know. So interesting one. Certainly very much enjoyed Tiago Forte's Second Brain book. It's worth every penny. I bought the original Tab Ultra and was chagrined when the Ultra C came out. Got the C, trained my wife on the black and white. No regrets. Yeah, there you are. That's the thing about books, is having multiple books devices are never bad. And was totally sold by my videos. Yeah, sorry about the causing your bank accounts to be hit, everyone. But yeah, glad my content is useful very, very much. Oh, thank you. Keyword keyword. I read keyboard indexing. Yeah, absolutely. That's great on the Supernote. For keywords, what you can do on books is you can search everything, every single folder. You can add tags on Remarkable, which is quite good. So there is loads that you can do. So there you are. Oh, right. Interesting. Scrivener is what I use, but it's not Android. Use remote desktop or Word and import it later. I'm so not an Apple person. Sorry. Good. Are there alternatives? There must be alternatives. Apps like Scrivener that you could use on here. I know that Scrivener is very good at importing and exporting in file types that go into other writing apps. So that might be right. Which is best? Right now, Tab Ultra C is definitely the one that I would buy. Thanks so much for your time. I'll see you all again soon.